Hello, Dina. Great to see you. And you are a fellow PMDD Project volunteer, yes?
Uh, yeah. Can I announce what I'm gonna
Go
be?
for it. Yes, please do.
I think Phoebe will be announcing I'm a trustee very soon.
That is very exciting.
So,
What does that involve?
so trustees, I suppose they manage like they look over like the funds and where I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. So,
Okay, so maybe
but
just keep it like
yeah,
that.
we'll wait for her to do an announcement
That's
first.
class. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you have been working in skincare and to do with psychology as well. And I think we all know the gut, mind, body link.
Mm-hmm.
But something which I think is very much overlooked and something which I'm really glad we're addressing today is that skin psychology link, which you know all about. So give us a little whistle stop
Yeah.
tour of everything you know.
So, my background is in psychology and psychoanalysis. And then I suppose now I'm an expert in psychodermatology. Um, and I'm the CEO of Espérer, which is like the first psychodermatological skincare brand. Um, so what is psychodermatology? It's a field of study about the connection of the mind and the skin. So essentially, it looks at the intrinsic connection, the impact stress has on your skin, and vice versa. So it's like a cycle.
I'm guessing you're never stressed because your skin is unbelievable.
Oh, far from it. We'll boil that down to my skincare. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, this connection is so deep. It's intrinsic. It's there from the beginning. And everything that we go through, our environment, our stresses, our internal environment as well impacts our skin. So our skin is like basically a mirror for our internal world.
I like that. That's
So,
nice.
yeah, psychodermatology, a lot of people haven't heard from it unless you're really like into the field. And it's
How did you get into it?
so I actually got into it while I was studying psychology, and I used to do makeup artistry on the side, a little side hustle, while I was doing my degrees. And I was always talking to people about, I don't know, you just get into it when you're doing somebody's makeup. And then
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of women would be, concerned about this or concerned about that. And for some reason, opening up to me with regards to like their insecurities as I'm doing their makeup. I think it's just a natural sort of chit chat of like, oh, I
Yes.
don't like this or that. And in my mind, I'm always thinking, I can't see what this person is seeing. Like, I can't see these, I don't know, this spot or this imperfections that this particular individual is so focused on. And it got me really, really interested in how we view ourselves and self-perception. So I went down the route of researching psychodermatology. And then obviously like my background in psychology anyway, sort of just pushed me more into that direction.
Right.
And I think that's when I decided I was going to start my skincare. And I think that
Yeah.
was like the first push of wanting to create something that influences our stress levels, influences, you know, how we feel in our own skin rather than just like masking a concern, which I
Yes.
think the beauty industry is very big on, masking issues or making people feel like they're not good enough or you need X, Y, Z to look like this, when really we should be looking at more skin health and how do we
Absolutely.
improve our skin and going down the acceptance route rather than trying to change, who we are.
Yeah.
And I think I just went in real deep with that and then created my skincare brand. And then later on, I went down, I suppose, the path of wanting to help women like more on one-to-one of like improving self-image. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
so cool.
my journey, I suppose, all
So
the way.
almost when you were doing the makeup for people, you almost became an accidental therapist in a way,
Yeah,
listening to issues, and
yeah.
then you thought, oh, I wish I could help these people further. And then you actually have, and you've
Mm,
gone and created this brand, which is unbelievable.
yeah.
I imagine you've come across many obstacles when trying to create your brand or your product.
I did. I mean, a lot of the obstacles was at the beginning, it was really difficult to explain the concept of the brand to people because I would have to, and I suppose for me, I guess talking about psychology came more naturally, but then it wasn't easy to speak about skincare and
Together.
psychology together to other people and explain to them how the products actually work and how they influence the hormones and how they promote, serotonin, for example. And there wasn't anything like that on the market at the time. So it was really difficult to, I guess, explain how the products work, and then also get people to understand that there is a real science, behind how our skin and our stress levels like impact each other.
I
Yeah.
obviously don't know a lot myself about the skin and psychology link, but the main thing I do hear is about how stress can trigger your skin to flare up and spots and all that sort
Absolutely.
of thing. So, if you have a client come for the first time, what does a first meeting look like with you?
So I do have a psychodermatology clinic where
Yeah.
where I also have partners in the clinic as well, like psychodermatologists, psychologists, therapists, nutritionists. So it's more of a holistic clinic. And when somebody comes to see me personally, the first thing I do is ask them about their lifestyle. I will use a skin analyzer to have a look at their skin more of a deeper level, and then ask about their stress levels, their emotions. I don't want to just look at somebody's skin and think, okay, this is why your skin looks like this. I want to know how you live your life, like what impacts your skin. And then once we go through our 1 hour, 45-minute consultation, which goes quite deep, I'll be able to kind of gather like what it is that's actually impacting their skin. A lot of times people have, they experience a lot of negative emotions throughout the week. Their job could be really stressful, and stress releases cortisol, which impacts inflammation in the body and really makes, acne so much worse and spots a lot worse. So
Right.
I guess we just have a good talk.
Yeah. So it is therapy with a sort of a side of skincare, but combined. Like
Yeah.
you're marrying them up. That is so like unheard of. I feel like this is the first time people are going to hear about this. It was for me anyway. Do you find that people react that way?
I do, but I do think we are going into that direction a lot more. So
Yeah.
when I first started, I started the looking into this in 2010. When I first sort of started going down that route, it was I could barely find. Maybe it's just my lack of research skills, but I could barely find any articles
Yeah.
on this topic in general. And now we're really going down a path of people are starting to understand, the impact of stress on their skin. A lot of people are starting to hear about psychodermatology. There are even some products under the I guess the name of neurocosmetics that are coming out as well. They focus on, I suppose, emotional well-being. So like, for example, scent and how almost aromatherapy, but a little bit
Yes.
deeper. So people are genuinely starting to look for more, I guess, holistic products and just holistic way of living as well,
Right.
because they understand, the impact it can have on them overall.
What would set your product aside from, say, something you get from Boots, like a cream or an oil? Your product obviously is known for those properties that can help the skin and then help inside out. What makes it a psychodermatological product?
So we actually created a complex. It's called Neuroplant Technology. So it's a complex of ingredients that when they're put into each, I guess, product, they work to influence like the promotion of like certain hormones. For example, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and GABA.
Can you drink it?
You can't drink. I wish. You
Can you
can't drink
inject
it.
it?
You can't drink it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess the power behind the products is the actual complex itself. And then I have, a range of products from like face creams to oils, etc. And each one falls into 3 different categories. So uplift, calm, and relax. And the reason why these 3 categories were created was because when I was doing my research, I was looking into emotions and the typical emotions that we feel on a day-to-day basis. So I guess I went quite deep with this because I was looking at like, emotional psychology, color psychology, and so on. So for example, on a typical week, you may feel sadness. It could be in a very different ways. You could miss your bus and feel sad. It doesn't have to be like, all the way down to depression.
You could be late to a podcast studio.
Exactly.
Me. I mean, not you.
No,
To clarify.
So Sadness would be one of them. Fear or anxiety, or apprehension, they all fall down in the same kind of category. And anger, so anger in one way or another. Those three emotions is what my entire brand is built on.
Yeah.
So each collection targets a specific emotion, but each emotion is responsible for a certain concern in somebody's body. I hope this is making sense.
It is, yeah.
Because I tend to. So, for example, anger. Anger is linked to spots, blemishes, acne, because of the way it causes inflammation, because of how it releases cortisol in the body. Sadness is linked to hyperpigmentation, and a lot of people don't know this because it impacts. So sadness impacts dopamine, which impacts melanin regulation, which melanin is responsible for the color in our skin.
Right.
And same goes for anxiety. Anxiety and fear impact cortisol, impacts dehydration in the skin, causes premature aging. And do you see the link there?
Yeah, I do.
So that's why I targeted 3 specific emotions. And these are the emotions that I think we feel one way or another in one capacity or another throughout our lives and our months, weeks, years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I suppose that's the difference. That would be the difference between, you know, your conventional skincare, which is more targeting surface level concerns.
Yeah.
I wanted to, you know, target the root cause of why we even have these concerns to begin with.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful that you're actually doing that and exploring that. And I was just thinking about if you're sad and then you are sad, you create a red face, and then you're like, great, I'm sad and I've got a red face. And then it's like, wait, am I sad because I got the red face, or am I red face because I'm sad? So yeah, it's like a sort of, you're stuck in this cycle of problems. So you're there to interject. Hopefully that's really lovely. And speaking of cycles, you obviously are working with the PMDD Project and soon to be a trustee, which is definitely allowed to be said, don't worry. How did you get involved with the PMDD Project? What made you reach out to Phoebe, for example, or maybe they reached out to you? So give us a little insight to that.
So I have PMDD.
Snap.
I know, it's such a blessing.
Yeah, love it.
Such a blessing. So I actually didn't know I had PMDD for a really long time. So you can just about imagine how difficult it was for me to navigate all the things that I'm doing in my life, having PMDD. And I mean, it was impacting relationships. It was impacting just me on a day-to-day basis. I decided to do some research one day when I sort of was at my absolute worst. And, you know, a few articles came up about PMDD, and I literally went through the symptoms list. And I was exactly. Yeah. I was just like, this is me in like a nutshell. This is who I am. This article is me. So I just started to do a lot more research into it. I started to look at, you know, if there's any sort of support groups. And I found the PMDD Project. So I reached out to Phoebe, who I love. Yeah.
She's all right.
To her. And, you know, told her, you know, that I've got PMDD and this is sort of my experience, and I would love to get involved in any way I can. Yeah. So she actually came back to me and said, actually, you know what, I think you'd be perfect for a trustee role. Because I just wanted to get involved as an ambassador maybe, or I didn't think it would be, you know, to trustee level, which I really am so grateful for. So cool. So that's how I got involved, but it all stemmed from my own experience of PMDD.
Must have been really challenging, especially when you were studying.
Yeah.
Did you go down the psychology route because you sort of had those struggles, or was it just something which coincidentally maybe...
Yeah. I mean, when I think about it, I think I've always had this interest, and I think it's very typical for any kind of psychologist to say the same thing. I've always had an interest in people, but you know, there is a lot of truth to it. I did always have interest in people and how people behave, how they think. And similarly, I think it did stem from my own trying to figure out myself. Yeah. Maybe subconsciously, I was just always trying to figure out, you know, myself and my own identity, and you know, I guess fighting a battle I didn't even know I was in as well.
Oh, it breaks my heart. I wish I could go back to our younger self and be like, this is what it is. It's
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So yeah, I think I did go into psychology partly because of myself, but also wanting to, understand people more and help people, because mental health is such a, is such an important factor of everybody's lives, and people experience mental health in different ways. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be sectioned for it to be called mental health.
Right.
There is so many different experiences that people have with mental health, anxiety, for example, depression, and it impacts everybody in one way or another, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I did start off wanting to like speak to people, help people, improve people's lives, and unintentionally helping myself. I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly.
Yeah.
What sort of did those symptoms look like for you? Maybe you were experiencing really low luteal phases. And I guess in the same question, what has helped you the most over the years? Because for me, I treat myself as an experiment. I'm almost trying to figure it out still. I'm like, well, isolating doesn't help. Realize that. So what were sort of to ask you, what were some of your symptoms that made you think, oh, I think I have this? And then what helped?
I mean, I had an array of symptoms. What can I say? Rage, suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety. What else? Sadness, intrusive thoughts, negative thoughts. You basically just name a symptom. I had it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that made me want to find out if there is something, because I didn't think there was an issue. I just thought
everyone gets like this.
Yeah, but to a certain extent, I sort of thought I was actually losing my mind every month, which was a really, really scary thought to have, because it would be, I never used to track my cycles. So it would be on a random Tuesday and I would just be like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Something just clicks just like that. And then I'm losing my mind. I don't know what's going on. I think it's also the relationship I had with my family. My family loved me very much, I'd like to think. But sometimes I am a nightmare. And it's, the isolation thing, not wanting anybody to speak to me. Bless them, they see the worst of it. And
my family too, honestly. Shout out to mom and dad. Cheers.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That really, and also the way it impacted my relationships as well. I think that's when I thought, okay, something is wrong. And I mean, I was told, not probably in the nicest way, but I was told like something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
You need to check that out.
I fully get it.
I guess I also think that my profession sort of hindered me from checking a little bit sooner, because I was already in my head anyway, just analyzing myself. I was pretty much psychoanalyzing myself all the time. Do I have bipolar? Do I have this? Do I have that? And then at the same time, I was thinking, I can't have these things. I'm meant to be helping other people.
Right.
I cannot have, I can't have anxiety. I can't have depression. How will I then help someone else? But a lot of it was really more personal anyway. You know, that friend that is great at giving everybody else advice, but never takes her own. That's me.
Oh, hey.
That's me, honestly. Hey. And that was me all the time. And I thought, what is going on here? So I think when it starts impacting your life in that way, where it hinders you from doing certain things, or, you get such intrusive thoughts that they're quite dark or negative, and then that's when there's a problem. There's something there. It's not just in your head.
Yeah. I'm finding this so almost helpful in a way, having this conversation, because obviously what you've described is exactly what I've experienced. And then for you to say those things about not wanting to be here and, being sad and depressed, I'm thinking, no, you don't deserve that. Why are you like that when you're such an amazing, successful person doing all of these things? And then it makes me think maybe I should actually take a bit of this information or this situation myself and be like, when I'm going through luteal, remember, okay, just because you're going through this blip doesn't mean it defines you. And I get it. I want to help people too. And I years ago thought I wanted to be a therapist. But then I was like, how could I do that when I'm so messed up myself? But it's just something that you, when you get a handle of it, then it's actually, you can live a normal, happy life. And I'm sure that you have been able to do that. So what would have been the tools that have helped you the most over the years? I can't give one answer, and I'm still working on it.
I
But
think
what
we
works for you?
all are to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But just before I answer the tools question, that you can, I would rather seek help from somebody who's experienced something, because they will know how to, you know, advise me to overcome it, than somebody that doesn't know. So if you want to be a therapist, still go for it.
Yes, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, you can go to many doctors, and no shade to doctors, you know, they're professional in their own capacity, but they may not have experienced what you experience. So they can't really advise you on how to overcome something. It's more sort of, you know, research or medical books or whatever, but not really from personal experience.
That's a really
So just
good
bear
point,
that in
actually.
mind.
Do you know, you've made me sort of randomly think here. That is such a good point, because for me, talking therapy and psychoanalyzing my childhood actually isn't very helpful or productive, because I had a great childhood and I don't have a lot of reflections to do on that. It's nothing to do with right now, because it's my biology. So we need therapists who actually are specialized in PMDD, or for PME or PCOS and endo and all of those specific female hormone related issues, because actually you can't outsmart biology sometimes, but you just need someone who understands it or is trained in it. So if you're out there and you're wondering what gap in the market to fill, there it is.
Exactly.
Wow. So what about tools?
So tools, I think the most helpful thing that for me was actually knowing I had PMDD.
Yeah.
That took away a lot of the uncertainty and the fear. Once I knew I had it, it was a lot easier to navigate it. Like I said, it's a lot more scary to feel like you're losing your mind than actually think, you know what, I have a condition, and now I'm going to start putting things in place. So, for example, I started cycle tracking, which I found to be really, really helpful. You know, it allowed me to know when I'm going to be in my luteal phase. It allowed me to know what days I'm most likely going to be more emotional, avoid people, or people avoid me, whichever way it goes.
We could never avoid you.
So yeah, I guess put in just I mean, I suppose you do have to, you know, what's the word for it? Not so much navigate, but you do have to rearrange your life around your condition. Just because there are going to be days where you're going to be really fatigued and you probably won't be as productive. There's going to be days where you're going to go through depression and all you want is comfort. All you want is to watch Netflix.
And that's okay.
You know? And that's fine. And that's fine. A lot of people feel guilt about that. I used to. If I was not productive, I would feel really guilty. Like, oh, you know what? My life is a waste. Like, to that level, I would be so dramatic about it. My life is a waste. What am I doing? You know? And it's now when I feel like I need to rest, I need to rest.
I'm getting better at doing that, kind of.
which is so important, because your body tells you what it needs. And I think that's the most important thing, to actually listen to your body, and listen to when you're tired, you need to rest.
Right.
You know, if you're having a day where you do need to isolate, that's okay. You just need to regather yourself. That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't say isolation is a tool, because isolation can also let you spiral. So I don't isolate too much. I do try to, you know, I'll have a day, but I do try to, you know, speak to friends, speak to family. I've told everybody now. Nobody knew I had PMDD, including my own mum. I've told everybody now. So it's like, guys, I've warned you.
Yes.
You know. So I've told everyone, which is, it's been really helpful as well. If you actually tell your family and your friends, then they know, like, that not to take things personally, or how to, you know, just give you a bit more compassion as well, because I think a lot of times you do need compassion.
Definitely. You're so right, by the way, because I actually have started to quote unquote heal very much this year, because I've opened up about it and actually told the world, declared I've come out as PMDD. And you know, my family knew, but I've told Instagram for some reason. But obviously it's been amazing, because look at the opportunities and the conversations I'm now having as a result. And I think what you said before about just knowing was good enough for you to start that healing process. you've reminded me why we're doing this and why we're even having this podcast. Because sometimes I think, gosh, people are thinking, Katie, wise up. You harp on and on about this PMDD thing. But every day, someone new is going to find out what it is and think, I have that, or I think I have that. And they'll find that Google article and that tick, tick, tick. And we could be helping someone. It's okay if we're not helping and, you know, going viral like Vicky Pattison, who's doing the Lord's work. But if we can help one person and they hear this and they can acknowledge and realize this isn't your forever reality, then I'm happy. So I just want to say thank you again to you for being so vulnerable and honest about this, because it's very powerful to just speak very freely about this. And you as well weren't sure what PMDD was, right? I didn't. And I was thinking, this is a made up thing. Everyone goes through this. So I'm so glad that you've got a bit of peace in that. Yeah. And I'm just really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
So good.
I mean, the PMDD Project is doing incredible things, because you go to the doctors and they tell you to take, antidepressants, which doesn't really solve the issue, or you can't just throw antidepressants at every problem. And then you have no idea what is going on, and you don't know whether it's linked to your cycle, whether you have no idea what the actual issue is, and there's nobody there to tell you. So to have a charity like PMDD is absolutely incredible, because I know obviously the statistics now, it's 1 in 20 women, but I feel like it's a lot more. And there are some women that sadly haven't made it. Yeah. They didn't get the help they needed. They probably didn't have a support system around them and weren't able to make it, because that is how serious PMDD can be.
I cannot emphasize enough. PMDD awareness is suicide prevention. Us talking about this is suicide prevention. Yeah. So, without being cheesy, I won't shut up about it. And that's okay. If I annoy people along the way, cool.
But so you shouldn't. You could be saving so many lives without even knowing about it. And you've said to me that, from your own experiences, how you think, and then seeing me makes you think, okay, well, there's other people there that can still lead a certain life. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it's still difficult for me, despite what social media might see. It's still difficult behind closed doors, where me having to, deal with my emotions and get up in the morning and actually run a business and go to the clinic and work.
Be a boss.
It's still really difficult, but I feel like if me sharing my story, I could help somebody else who thinks they might not be able to do X, Y, Z. But if you're able to get help, then you're more than capable. It's just, it might hinder you. It might be difficult. It might be an obstacle, but you can still get through it.
Totally. There's power in collaboration and talking about this, and in the group mentality. And, with you becoming a trustee of the project, I can't wait to work closely with you as well, because in Belfast, I'm hoping to create something, a support group, because I know that London, obviously being the capital, it's got quite a lot of noise happening there, and I'm trying to make the noise over the water. So we'll definitely be in touch about that. You mentioned about isolating. I used to do that so much, because it's the only thing I knew what to do, because I was so embarrassed by what I was feeling, and I was actually kind of a bit scared about the unpredictability of my actions and words in particular. Leaving WhatsApp groups, saying to my friends, like, who's paying you to be my mate? You don't even like me. And I sort of now allow myself, if and when required, it's not as often, thankfully, hippo time. I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept before.
No, tell me, please.
Yeah, so hippos love to wallow in mud, and they lather and roll around in it and really enjoy getting muddy, and they just embrace it. And then they only give themselves a couple of hours or day. I don't know any hippo experts out there, correct me. And then they go back into the water and they get back to it. So I almost allow myself a day of hippo wallow time, instead of before it used to be 2, 3, 4 days, maybe even a week. So I'm like, right, okay, I will wallow for a few hours. I'm having my hippo time. I'm letting people know. I just send that hippo emoji. This is happening. And then they make sure I'm back in the water the next day. So yeah, it is about a little bit cheesy, those things that help us, and communicating it with friends. But hopefully you don't have as much hippo time these days, do you?
Um, it just sounded like hippo is my spirit animal at the minute. I do have hippo time.
Yeah.
I still do, just because I tend to do too much and then I get burnt out. So I have to have hippo time.
Right,
And I
right.
really like this hippo time thing,
Yeah.
you know, I like
Let's
this.
get that trending.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still happens. You definitely need it. I think everybody needs hippo time, because we're in a society where everything is go, go, go. And it's really unhealthy.
I agree.
And as women as well, we are running on a cycle of our emotions being up and down and fluctuating throughout the month. And there are times when we need rest.
Nesting works.
Yeah, exactly. Or nesting. We need rest, and we do not take this rest. And you know, I think it's important that we shouldn't, you know, you were mentioning that you feel guilty about it. You shouldn't feel guilty, but I understand why you would, because nobody's out here telling women, you know, pain is not normal, feeling like this is not normal. Just because it's a period doesn't mean, just because everybody, you know, just because people get periods doesn't mean it's normal,
right,
to feel, you know, certain emotions
exactly.
at that extreme level anyway.
The irony in the rest thing is there's a lot of studies now to represent or to show there's a correlation between PMDD and ADHD and ADD, which I'm sure you've heard of or seen or maybe even relate to. I certainly do. And pretty much everyone I meet is like, you're so ADHD. And I'm thinking, you're rude and underqualified to say that. Thank you. I mean, I definitely 100% do. I've been diagnosed 3 times because I didn't believe them the first time. And it's then hard for me to rest because I'm sort of like quite literally physically vibrating like, oh, I need to do something. So that's something I'm trying to get better at doing. And I think through your products as well, it encourages that rest, because you don't just sell a product, you sell... I've just realised how cheesy. You don't just sell a product, you sell a lifestyle.
I feel like you should work with me. Should
No,
you be
I
on
just
the
need to hold
marketing
them
team?
by this. But seriously, I think that's what you're doing is really good. You're not just tackling the surface level, you're tackling within, and you're encouraging that rest and recuperation to then make that well-being a lot more holistic. So you're doing damn good stuff, girl. Loving it.
I hope so. But I did want it to be more of a ritual. I wanted it to be time for yourself. My first products that were launched were actually 3 night oils, because that's how important sleeping was to me.
Yeah.
And I don't even need to go how much sleep is important, which I never have enough of, just because of the amount of things I do. But yeah, rest.
I do not take
If we
my
can take
sleep
anything away
seriously.
from today,
Yeah.
sleep. Sleep, people. Sleep.
Okay, go to sleep.
Go to sleep, everyone.
Go to sleep. And finally, what about some of the clients that you've had? What sort of things are they coming away saying, or any testimonials that they've experienced, any breakthroughs?
I mean, I've had quite a few clients from all different walks of life, TV personalities, editors. I won't say anybody's name, but I've had quite a few. And, you know, the testimonials and the feedback I got back was always really heartwarming, because I know these particular people have experienced so many different treatments and so many different products. So it was really important for me to almost, you know, I was always wanting some sort of validation to a certain extent. A lot of the times what they would have in common is that they have changed the way they see themselves, which was, you know, that was my aim. So for somebody to say that, or for a few of them to actually say that, it meant so much to me. So a particular one, an editor, she came in and she thought that she was she was aging too quickly, and then she felt like her skin was old, and the whole conversation was about age.
God
which
forbid
I think,
we age.
Yeah.
Our natural
so
thing.
A lot of the conversation was about age. I did the skin analysis on her. It showed that her skin age was actually lower than her biological age. So that was the first, I guess, thing that we spoke about, where it's like, okay, you think it, but actually, you know, the data's showing otherwise. And then we went through, you know, our consultation. We had a treatment called CBT, which is one I created. it incorporates cognitive behavioral therapy in the actual treatment.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Oh God, I love this treatment. So yeah, this is my signature treatment in the clinic, and I didn't want it to be your typical facial. I wanted it to be a facial where people they come in with a concern and they leave knowing how to deal with it or change how they view themselves.
When can I book in?
Straight away, don't worry, I got you. Yeah, so a lot of the clients that I had were actually in for that CBT treatment. And we go through different stages. We go through reframing, we go through visualization within the actual treatment itself, breath work, for example, as well. By the end of that treatment, so I do a consultation at the beginning and I do a form at the end just to see the difference between the beginning and the end. And every time I've had such positive feedback, and I think that has been like, oh my God, I can die now. I've achieved my aim in life. And yeah, so most of it, without rambling on too long, most of it was that people have left with different opinions about themselves. Or, for example, the editor not seeing herself as old as she thought she was, or not focusing on her wrinkles or fine lines as much as she was when she walked in. Feeling really feeling really refreshed, rejuvenated. And the most important thing for me was changing how they walked in, which is their relationship with themselves, their self-image, appreciating things like, for example, loving their cheekbones when they walked in. That's more surface things. But the other more emotional aspects was just more self-acceptance.
Right. So to confirm, is it sort of you've got that therapy element with skincare at the same time? Are they getting a facial? Or is it really?
Yeah.
So you're having a facial whilst being like, okay, by the way, I hate my body. And you're like, and why? And let's think about it. Oh my word, this is
and
so
another
clever.
thing that I did that was a world first.
Just casual, just a world first.
I always speak about things very casually, and people always pick up on that and say, this is like a really interesting thing.
Really
and I'm
big
just
deal,
like,
a massive achievement. Goodness me.
Yeah, so I just didn't find anything like that out there. I thought, and funnily enough, I actually trained to do facials just for this.
Brilliant.
I trained to do facials and got certified in it just because I wanted to. And everyone keeps telling me, like, are you not done with this education process? And I'm like, no, we can always learn more skills.
I don't get facials often or really at all, to be honest. My skincare routine is literally soap and water, and then that's it. Anywho,
don't say that to me.
Yeah, no, sorry.
I mean, your skin's
I'm
great.
Like, splash my face with water. I'm like, that'll do. When and if in a blue moon I get a massage or a facial, I actually revert into myself because I'm thinking too much about myself. And I'm like, that thing I said in 2006, shouldn't have said that. And then I start thinking, you idiot. And so this is actually very necessary. I bet you I'm not the only one that does that because you're thinking and you're listening.
I do.
100%. But listen, I'm going to wrap things up and just say thank you so much again for coming in today, sharing your story so vulnerably and openly, which will really, really help people, by the way, genuinely. If not many, at least one. But I imagine it's more. Person. Yeah, so shout out to them. And for sharing psychodermatology and your products, because it is, when you think about it, so obviously should be together. So watch this space is what I'll say. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.